Hello, everybody. It's Mirialda here once again, and welcome back to episode number 70 of Let's Browse. Woohoo! Yes. So before we get started, we'll look at the lovely Tamamo while I tell you a few things. So first of all, this is the second time I've recorded this video, and yeah, I successfully managed to mute myself the entire last time again. That kind of leads me into the second point I wanted to make, which is why was I muting myself? Well, I'm still, I suppose I'll call it sick. I mean, I feel fine, but I do have this issue where I'm coughing a lot. I've got like some phlegm, and when I talk, it really makes me want to cough, and I do cough. So I was trying to be nice and mute myself when I coughed because no one wants to hear that, and it can be loud and annoying. Well, I got out of sync and I managed to mute myself while I was talking and unmuted the coughs. That's not fun. So yeah, I'm gonna still try to mute myself. I'm gonna still try to mute myself, but you may see me switch over to the other screen just so I can make sure I am still not muted this time. Yeah. So yeah. Um, and then there is another thing. So my community guideline strike for, streaming the boobies has finally expired, which you would think would mean I could live stream again, but this isn't a live stream. So yeah, we can bring up my page and we see, yes, no copyright strikes, no community guideline strikes, but live streaming is still revoked. YouTube is great at fucking us over nice and quick, but they suck balls at fixing their mistakes and actually returning functionality. So yeah, no live streaming for the foreseeable future until YouTube stops being fucking YouTube and actually does their job. And of course, since I don't have a million subscribers, there's no one that I can actually email. I mean, I've found some people on like Reddit that might be able to help, but I don't want to join Reddit or Twitter or any of that crap. So yeah, maybe eventually we can live stream again, but for now we'll continue doing, normal videos. But enough of that. We're here to look at pretty plastic, so let's look at some pretty plastic. So, our first suggester this week is lip. I do want to mention there is one single NSFY suggestion this week, so we'll do that one a little bit later. We'll hold on to it. There are a couple in here that technically should be in there, but I'm feeling a little adventurous, so we'll be careful. Lip has one of these, so there's 30 tabs, which because I saved individual pictures, because yeah, she's cast off, and we don't want to get a strike again. But anyways, our first suggestion is Power Girl from the DC universe. She is manufactured by Kotobukiya and is a 1/7 scale figure. She was originally released on November 20 of 2012 and was re-released on February 13th of 2013 and was priced at 6,200 yen at the time. And if we scroll down, we can see, holy fuck, she is not 6,000 yen anymore. She is almost 300 freaking dollars. Yeah, she has definitely gone up in price in the aftermarket. She's got a 9.12 rating, rated 85 times. 381 people own her on MFC. So yeah, we'll click and we'll look, and we'll say right off the bat, I'm not into the superhero girls, so this is not a figure for me. I'm not really interested in it, but let's see if she is worth almost $300. So we see she has a base, which kind of looks like it's a diamond plate metal base. It's got a Power Girl logo emblazoned on it, and it just looks like a, shiny piece of plastic. We have Power Girl herself. So she has yellow hair. She has a smile. She, of course, has a boob cleavage cutout window. And she is a muscular superhero girl, so she got quite the muscles going on. She's got her thighs and her hips and her knees and tops of her calves exposed, and she is wearing some blue boots. They are high heel boots, and she's got kind of small stubby toes. She is wearing a red belt with a golden buckle, and she also has a red cape with a little golden buckle and a golden rope. Um, Her outfit does have some ribbing in it, and on her arms, it kind of looks like she has massive veins because of it, popping out some massive veins, but it's part of the ribbing of her outfit. Um, they did definitely do a lot of details in her arms, so all the muscles and everything. So she has biceps and triceps. She also has well-defined shoulders, but this is one of the downfalls of this figure, in my opinion, is the shoulder. Her right shoulder looks very strange because it's kind of a bulging, smallish muscle, but then the actual joint part is very small compared to what you would think it would normally be with that big of an arm. Uh, she has a vacuum sealed belly button and a fairly flat crotch. There is the original artwork that she is based off of, and comparing the two, I do prefer the original artwork compared to the figure, but it is what it is. And there's been quite a few of the superhero girls from Kotobukiya, so we get all sorts of pictures of them. So here is a good shot of Power Girl's face. She has nice blue eyes, she has long eyelashes, she has blonde hair, which is not very shaded. It is sculpted a bit, but it does just feel like a blob of yellow plastic. Of course, this is a older figure, so it makes a little bit of sense that it's not quite up to current standards, in my opinion. She does have a nice smile on her face, and she's got a decent sized nose. It's not just a little button. We do see that there is a little gap under the rope in her outfit, so that's a nice little seam line, which you won't really see because, of course, we're zoomed in so far. There is another seam where her arm attaches to her torso as well. Yeah, vacuum seal belly button. From this angle, her face doesn't look the greatest. It's not my style of face anyway, so meh. But if you like this figure, don't listen to me. If you like her and you got $300 to blow, go ahead and buy her. But personally, I don't think she's worth the $300. Maybe the $60 that she was originally priced at, yeah. The cape is shiny plastic, shiny red paint. It does appear to have some shading, but that could just be natural shading, not painted shading. Because the cape is billowing out behind her and off to the side a bit. She's got blue gloves, blue boots, and she's got the booty. Yes, she has booty. The outfit continues its very tight theme, so you get it. It is definitely writing up her crack and giving her a wedgie, and you can see some of her back muscles as well from this angle. So yeah, I mean it's a figure from 2012. It's a superhero girl. Sorry, it's a superhero girl, and it's not really my thing, but it looks decent enough. It's a Kotobukiya figure. We'll go over here. There are some user pictures, so we'll click on one and see how she actually turned out. We'll do a full body shot of her. So yeah. Looks like she turned out pretty much like the prototype, so what you saw is what you get. Honestly, maybe the hair does look a little bit better. Her outfit is quite shiny, matches her shiny cape and everything. And yeah, I mean, she's a muscular superhero girl, and if you're into that thing, and as I said, if you got the $300 to blow, maybe you can get her. So yay, that's Power Girl. Moving on, now we have Dark Elf Beastmaster from Dragon's Crown. This one is being manufactured by Q6, and she is a 1/6 scale figure. This is just a prototype, so she's painted, but there is no price or release dates or anything like that. So we'll click and we'll look, and we see she is a chocolate elf girl. So yes, dark skin and elf and everything. She holds a staff, which honestly looks kind of like a mage's staff, but she's a beastmaster, so you wouldn't think a beastmaster is a sorceress. So, but it really looks like it's got like a magical stone. She does have muscles in her belly, so yes, she's got one, two, three, four. She's got a six-pack abs, big gold belly button. I'd rate her armor rating at probably man 85, 90%. Yeah, so she's pretty well protected in that bikini armor. She does have some thigh-high boots going almost all the way up to her crotch. They're black with some gold trim, and she's got this little snide look on her face or whatever. She does have some gray hair. And being a prototype, there's only this one picture in this section, so we'll go over here and we'll look at some Chan pictures. So we'll click on this one, and we see, yes, she is an elf girl. She has the long pointy ears, and she's got a little bit of details in them. She is wearing a headband with little golden wings on it. And looking at the armor, what little armor there is of it, it does seem a little bit rough, the paint on the edges. I mean, it doesn't really look like there's bleeding or anything. It just doesn't quite look perfect. Of course, remember, we are zoomed in quite far, so any little tiny flaw is magnified as well. Um, if we look, this is a Q6 figure, and they are typically are an adult figure company. So if we look at her like bust armor, it does appear to be loose from her skin a bit. So I wager that that's probably going to be cast off. Don't quote me on that. This is just my observation. I have no insider information. She has the big giant boobs, and it looks like there's some actual physics going on with them, so they're not balloons. Her hand, the fingers are sculpted, but they are like a chunk of plastic, so not individually sculpted. And you can see little, prototype molding flaws and everything. But so far, she looks decent enough if you're into the dark-skinned elf girls. We'll click on this one to get kind of a little bit more of a close-up. So yeah, she's got her eyes like half shut. She's got a little smile on her face. She's got a little nose. Hair is gray. It's got the fringe sculpted and everything, but aside from that, it is fairly flat. Not a lot of painting, not a lot of sculpting up there. Uh, Definitely a muscular woman. She would definitely kick my ass. I mean, she is a beastmaster. She has to tame the beast somehow. And then I remember there was another picture of kind of the original artwork that she's kind of based off of. So there she is, leaning back against a couple of her tamed beasts. It is a different pose and everything, but we do see the face is similar. She's got the same expression. Her boobs seem a little bit bigger and less flattened in the figure than the original artwork. And the stomach muscles are there, but they're less defined in the original artwork as well. But overall, I think they've done a pretty good job translating this, changing the pose a little bit and, making it a 3D figure. So if you're interested in this one, it's one to keep an eye on. So now we shall move on. Now, technically, Lip should be in the Hall of Shame, but I'm being a little bit lenient since I did skip a week because I was sick. So, 4 suggestions, 2 weeks, it works. 1 second. Okay, that's a little bit better. Make sure I'm not muted. Yay. So now we have Sakura Futaba, however you say her name, and Morgana. She is from Persona 5. I will come out right at the beginning and say this. I am not a Persona fan. I know a lot of you are, so give me a little bit of slack. But this figure I do I did consider buying. I really like the way that she looks. She is by Fat Company and is a 1/7 scale figure. She came out March 12th of 2018 and was priced at 12,000 yen. If we scroll down, we see she is still pretty much around that price, maybe a little bit higher. So you can still pick her up in the aftermarket at a reasonable price if you do decide you like her. So we'll click and we look and we see she is kind of in some casual clothing. So she's got a little halter tank top, whatever that would be called. It's got little flowers and blood splatters looking thing details on it. She has a coat which is hanging off of her shoulders. Her hands are in her pockets. The coat is quite detailed. It's sculpted. It's got all the wrinkles and everything. It's shaded. It has the fluffy collar. She has some short shorts on with a little belt. She is showing off some zitaroki, and she has thigh-high stockings on and some pretty dang detailed boots. She is also wearing some headphones and some big giant glasses. And looking at it, I like the style of this figure. I like the way the colors go together. It works. And I like her shirt. I really like the shirt. It's not something you see on typical anime figures. So here we do see a slightly different angle of her. So she does not have big, giant, bulbous, oversized boobs. She has normal human-sized boobs, which is, to some people, myself sometimes as well, a plus. She's got a nice thin, lithe body shape and everything. She is sticking her tongue out just a little bit. She's got some nice purple eyes. Her hair is sculpted pretty nicely. It's got the fringe strands and everything. There is some shading in there as well. And, lots of strands going everywhere. Her crotch is quite defined. It's not a camel toe, but you do see the V line. And, yeah, she's kind of shrugging a little bit, so her shoulders up. And just looks pretty nice to me. She does come with an alternate display option, so you can take the coat off, and now she is holding a little kitty cat. I'm guessing that's Morgana. She also has, I'm guessing, a phone with some stuff on it, a nice little app. Since you have removed the coat, you have to plug in different arms, which lets you have her holding the kitty cat. Unfortunately, I don't think there is a way to display her holding the kitty cat with the coat on, and I do prefer her with the coat on. As much as I like kitty cats, this one, in my opinion, is not quite the greatest. We do see her boots are quite detailed. I think we'll get a better shot of them in the near future, so we'll talk about them then. As I said, a slightly better shot of her boots. So in this, I do remember commenting in this prototype picture that the boots do look a little bit messy. I did look at the user pictures, so we'll do that in a little bit, and they did look better in the actual product. But so the boots are, almost knee high. They've got lacings down the front. They've got a zipper down the side and a buckle to hold them together. Another buckle over the ankle. So quite detailed. The paint does look messy in this prototype picture, and the lacing does look a little bit messy as well, but it's a very good detail. The cat, the sculpting on its mouth and its whiskers does look a little bit strange, mainly because the whiskers are carved out of its face instead of, strands sticking out. He does have some little fluffy ears, and he's got some limbs. Yeah, really not the biggest fan of this kitty cat. We do see the SNS app is open on her phone, and yes, she is definitely sticking out her tongue. Maybe she's going to clean the kitty cat a little bit. And now she's got her coat back on. Whoops. Gray prototype, kitty cat, face. Now we see her from the back a little bit. We do see the side of her shorts also have the lacing, and they're quite tight shorts as well. So the front was tight, the back, of course, is tight. So she does have a bit of a wedgie going on. Her hair is nice long strands and everything. It's not giant chunkiness. And you got the headband of the headphones also detailed. It's got the AXG logo, and it's quite large. It would definitely fit over her head. So yeah, like I said, overall I do like the style of this figure. I like the way that it looks, but I'm not a Persona fan, and I ultimately decided to pass on this one. But if you like her, which I'm sure a lot of you do, you can buy her, and she's still available and not horribly overpriced yet. But I wouldn't wait too long to buy her. Real quick, we'll just look at a couple user pictures, one or two, just to see how she turned out. Uh, so we'll do a close-up of the boots first. So yeah, I think they cleaned up the paint quite a bit and the sculpting just a little bit, so I think the boots turned out nicely. We also see that the base is a red plastic disc, but it's got the Persona 5 logo and it's got some stars and patterns and everything. So it's not just a plain boring disc. And then a shot of her face. So yes, definitely sticking out her tongue. She's got a little button nose. The hair does have a couple little chunks of extra plastic, but nothing too horrible. Eyes, not very detailed, but they look pretty good. The purple matches with her hair quite nicely. And you can see her collarbone and everything. So looks pretty decent. Little couple niggles like the little extra bits of plastic, but I think she would be worth the money. And then we'll do a shot of the kitty cat. Yeah, the kitty cat didn't improve much. So if you like her, you can buy her. If you don't like her, you don't have to buy her. So the next figure, Itachi Mako. I've talked about this figure 2 times in the past, well, technically 3 times now, and this is another time we're talking about her. So she keeps getting suggested, and I keep talking about her. But the thing is, since she is a cast-off figure, I've been talking about her in the not safe for YouTube part, which, about 5, 6 people download and watch. So a lot of people probably don't realize I have talked about this one. Uh, Lip also said that this might be my style, and I will tell you this. Yes, I do like this one. I have very seriously considered buying her. I'm still very seriously considering buying her, and I'm going to pose a question to you guys, which I expect answers to. But anyways, yes, Hitachi Mako from Senran Banka. She is by Broccoli and is a 1/7 scale figure. She is supposed to come out in September of 2018 and is priced at 16,500 yen. And as I said, she is a cast-off figure. If you buy her from Ami Ami, she does come with an an option to come with an alternate faceplate as well, which is kind of an embarrassed faceplate. It fits with her cast-off state pretty nicely. So yeah. Instead of going through these pictures, since she is cast-offable and they do show nipples and stuff, and we're trying to not get banned from YouTube again, that's why I have all these tabs open. They are all the individual pictures that are safe for YouTube. So yeah, we won't look through all of them because there's a lot of them, but yeah, she is a little ninja girl. So she's got the headband, very reminiscent of Naruto. Never watched that show, but I do know that's a common style, except it does not have the little symbol on the metal plate. She has some nice black hair, nice long bang, Psylocks, whatever these are, but the rest of the hair is actually pretty short. She has some very pretty green eyes. She's got a nice smile on her face. She is wearing a scarf, which flies out everywhere. It's black on the outside and red on the inside. She is wearing a nice outfit. And of course, gotta have the front open, showing off her cleavage. She has a very lovely and interesting and unique bra, which I really do like. She's got a couple gauntlet glove type things on, and she's holding 2 little kunais. So yeah, nice shape to her. She's curvy, looks pretty good. Here we see the full shot of her, and we see she has an interesting and unique base. It's got the little fence, it's got some flowers, it's got broken rubble because she is, super strong ninja girl, so of course she breaks the ground wherever she walks. And she's got a little magical wind effect flying around her. She is wearing sandals with some leg warmers and lots of strappy straps. And she's just running around. It's not a very natural way to run because when you run, you don't lift your leg up completely up so that it meets the bottom of your thigh, but lots of anime figures do this. The outfit is very short, so she is showing off lots of legs. And yeah, I like her face, like her smile, like the overall look of this. The outfit is a nice blue color and it is shaded very nicely, so it's got some dark parts where it's supposed to be dark and it's light where it's been stretched out over her rump and her boobs and everything. She's got a couple belt straps and everything. She does have a white ribbon tied around her waist with a bow on the back. When you cast her off, the arm things stay on, but the top comes off, the bottoms come off. This white ribbon does stay on. So yeah. And the answer to the important question, by the way, is white. We do see nice side boob shot. And yeah, we do see like her hair is tied in a little ponytail, but it is very short, except for the couple strands in the front. There's a good shot of her hand. The kunai does look metallic, and the fingers are very well done. They do appear to just have gloss paint on the nails, but looks like all the fingers are actually individually sculpted, and not just one blob of plastic. And the little straps around look pretty nicely detailed as well. There's a good shot of her face again, kind of tilting her head a little bit. Kind of makes sense with the way she's running and looking back. And now we can see her kind of from the front, and we start to get a good view of her cleavage area. And now we can see her from the back with, it's tight, so it's giving her a bit of a wedgie, riding up a little bit. And you can barely almost see, but it's just barely hidden. Come on. Convenient scarf censorship. Let's get a couple close-ups. Well, of course, the first close-up is of her booty. The back of her knee is detailed pretty nicely. Her toes are also sculpted very nicely. We'll see if we can see a good shot of her toes. So, let's see, I think. Sorry about that. I accidentally pushed the wrong button. So yeah, here's a good shot of the bra. I love this bra. It fits her perfectly. The coloring is beautiful. I like the purple. I like the design of it with the gold outline, gold trim and everything. And she's, busty girl. Not overly busty, but pretty nice size boobs. And she fills out that bra very nicely. And we got some separation. Yes, they are not welded together. Yay. And no vacuum sealed belly button. There's the shot of the base, and we can kind of see, as I said, her toes seem to be sculpted very nicely, and even the toenails, you can see the little divots for them. The flowers seem to be pretty good as well. So yeah, there's the magical wind effect, and there's a good shot of her cleavage again, and the detailing on the bra. It's kind of like a purple floral pattern. And if you don't like the scarf, you don't have to display her with it. Sorry. Yeah. And then we've seen her smiling face, but there is the embarrassed face that you can buy for like an extra $5 at Ami Ami, I think. So her eyebrows are going up, and she has the open O mouth, and just looks a little bit embarrassed. So yeah, that is Mako, I think. Bring this up. Yeah, Itachi Mako. So now my question is, As I said, I have very seriously considered buying this. I believe I am leaning towards actually buying it. I spent too much money this year, god damn it, but I do like this one. So now my question to you is, which face? The normal face or the bonus face? Is that bonus face worth the extra $5? Let me know what you think. And if you want to see what she looks like cast off, go ahead to MFC and look at all those nice pretty booby pictures. So now we shall move on to Chris Kojak. Chris Kojak has suggested an idol girl. This is Otokura Yuki from Idolmaster Cinderella Girls. She is by Alter. This is the Come With Me version of her. She is a 1/7 scale figure, and she is a prototype, so no no release dates, no price, no nothing. So yeah, we shall look at her anyways. So I have no idea who this idol is. She's not one I'm familiar with, but she is an idol, so she has a big happy girl smile on her face. She is leaping into the air with a magical wind effect supporting her. She's kind of wearing a sailor dress, so you got the little scarf, you got the little dress, you got the plaid, you got the ruffles, and she's got some bracelets on with some ruffly things, and yeah, underskirt. Sorry. The underskirt is made out of a roughly transparent plastic, which matches the bracelets and the hair ornament. She does have some gray hair with an ohoge and some strands going everywhere. She has some, you know, calf-high socks with some gold emblems on them, and she's kind of wearing some loafer-type shoes. And yeah, she's blushing just a little bit. We only got this one picture here, so we shall go over and look at Chan pictures. Just going to drag this one over here real quick. Make things a little bit easier in the future. So we shall click on this one. We shall click on this one. We'll do a good face shot. And fortunately, since she's at a convention, we don't see her from the back. So we'll do kind of a full body shot too. There we go. So Yuki. This is the original artwork that she is based off of, and I do feel that Alter did an impeccable job translating this to a 3D figure. The colors are spot on, the pose is spot on, and everything. So yeah, looks pretty good. Too bad they can't have these little birds, but it is what it is. So here's a shot with, oh my god, we got the important question answered already. The answer is white. But yeah, we do see the underskirt is the transparent plastic. It's got the little frilly doily trim on it. We do see that the plaid of the brown plaid of the trim of her skirt is on both sides. They even got the little wrinkle in her ankle done nicely. The shoes are a nice brown color. They do look like leather and not just painted plastic. The skirt has some pleats. In the anime world, is kind of flat-chested, so not big giant boobs, but there are some mounds there. She's showing off some side boob and some armpit. Skirt has some pleats in it and ruffles, and she's got a bow. And she does not have teeth in that big, happy girl open mouth smile. Her eyes do seem to be pretty detailed. That's a nice little touch. So here's a good shot of her face. You can see the details in her eyes, the irises. She's got some pupils. She's got some red glare in them. The outline of her eye has a tad, a tad bit too much red in it. But it is what it is, and you're not going to be looking at her this close all the time. I just noticed the little ribbon has a little Y for Yuki on it. The hair ornament has this similar transparent plastic with some yellow ribbons and some jewelry bits and bobs in there. The hair, it's got a bit of a shine line painted onto it, so a little bit of shading. The strands are nice and clean, nice and sharp and pointy. But it's not the most impressive hair, but it has been done very well. Except for maybe the Hoge, it is obviously glued on. All of her fingers are individually sculpted and separated, so no big giant blobs of plastic with a couple lines drawn on it. So yeah, looks pretty good. Not for me, not into this idol girl because no idea who she is. But yeah, if you like her, you're in idol hell already, so go ahead and buy her. Who knows what she's going to be cost or when she's going to come out though. But it is an altar figure, so you'll get your money's worth if you buy her, I do believe. Um, if you don't like that idol girl, maybe you like the Love Live idols. Like maybe, I don't know, Nishikino Maki and Yazao Nico from Love Live School Idol Festival. Again, these two are by Alter. This is the Valentine Hen version of them. Yes, it is two figures in one. So you're getting two figures basically. They are 1/7 scale figures. They're supposed to come out in December of 2018. Yeah, no, don't expect them in December. The price is 20,800 yen. Now, when you say that, it does sound pretty damn expensive. But once again, remember, you're getting two figures in one. So it's about 10,000, $100 for each figure, which for an altar figure is actually reasonable. Yes, it's a lot of money to drop at once, but you're getting two figures. So you got Maki and you got Nico. Maki is confident and happy with herself. Nico is a little bit embarrassed to be giving you her chocolates. They do have very similar outfits, but being Love Live idols, there are slight differences. So they got the loafer shoes. Maki has some normal stockings, while Nico has some thigh highs. They both have some nice red skirts. Nico is showing off a bit of her belly, while Maki's coat is a little bit longer. Maki is wearing a tie, and Nico is wearing more of a sailor outfit scarf. Yeah. On Maki, the Happy Valentine's is written on her coat, but on Nico, it is written on her skirt. And they've got different chocolates that they're giving you. Maki's looks more to be store-bought. It's in a box and with a ribbon tied around it, while Nico's seems to be more handmade and, personalized. Maybe that's why she's a bit more embarrassed. And they're holding hands because, they love each other. Maki's got a nice purple eye. She is winking at you, and she's got a nice smile. Nico has both of her red eyes open. She's got the little embarrassed look with the little open mouth. The hair, I think Maki's is maybe a little bit better. I like Maki better than Nico, so I'm more inclined to like her. But yeah, I think her hair is slightly more detailed. It does have a seam right there and maybe right there. Nico does have the twin tails going on, though. So there's a close-up of Nico, and we can see even inside this plastic bag, the chocolates are very detailed. They've got the little chocolate syrup stripes on them and everything. So yeah, and it's Alter, so it's very high quality. You got the seam line there, but it matches where a normal clothing seam line would be. And yeah. From the back, you're not really meant to be looking at these ones from the back, so it is kind of boring. The answer to the important question is a mystery for now. We do see the soles of their shoes are golden colored. From the back, Nico's hair is definitely more detailed, so you got the part line, you got the little strands and everything, and you can tell it's been tied into the twin tails. Maki's just has this very ugly seam line going down the middle. It's not even a part line. It's just a nasty seam line. But yeah, you're not meant to look at these girls from the back. So yeah, if you like idols, you can get two in one. They go together very nicely. They're holding hands. They match. They're Valentine's girls. It's supposed to come out in December, but they may be more Valentine or maybe even White Day presents. And eventually, Oh yeah, we have to go over here to get that. This is the artwork that they are based off of. So once again, Alter translated it pretty perfectly. They even made the skirts look better with their shading. They, in the original artwork, they are farther apart, but Alter was kind to us and squished them together so they take up a little bit less space in our displays. So yay, that was Maki and Nico. Take a drink of water real quick. And we shall move on to I'm a life form known as Manuel. Yes, Manuel. Fix this a bit. So Manuel has suggested Asana. Yes, Asana Yuki from Sword Art Online. This one is the movie, Ordinal Scale. This is by Aquamarine. She is a 1/7 scale figure and is supposed to come out in December of 2018. And you can buy her from AmiAmi for 14,160 yen. It is maybe a little expensive, but a 1/7 scale figure. We'll click here and we'll do view all pictures and wait for them to load. Make sure I am not muted. Yes. So yes, we have Asana. And this one is in a pose that I feel I've seen before in other figures, so it doesn't seem unique enough to me. And this has some stuff that I really do not like. And that is these stupid clear support rods. I really do not like these clear support rods. They look stupid. I mean, yes, she is kind of they're trying to levitate her in the air, so they have to have something supporting her, but they just look horrible. It looks like a prize figure, for Christ's sake. And then, not only that, but you got the rods, and then you've got stupid plastic claws holding on to her. That, like I said, that's what you see in prize figures. That's not what you see in expensive scale figures. Well, at least not lately, anyways. But that's my gripe about that. We'll move past the rods because overall the figure itself I think looks very good. Um, I don't quite trust Aquamarine to pull off the final product looking exactly like this, but hey, I could be wrong. But yeah, her hair is very lovely and it's a very good color. It's going everywhere. It's sculpted nicely and it's painted and shaded and everything. I love the hair on this figure. The outfit, the white is very white. The red is very red. They contrast great. And at least in this prototype, all the line work is very clean. And really, aside from these poles, the main complaints I have is her face. It's not a bad face, it just looks a little bit off, and I do feel her head is maybe a little bit too big compared to her body. But it could just be because, she's kind of leaning forward, so her head is closer to us than the body is. And then her sword is at kind of a little bit of an angle. Yes, she is, thrusting the sword out, but it's kind of going upward, and it's not like going where she's looking. But other than that, just the first impression you get when you look at this figure, at least to me, is wow, that looks pretty damn good. So yeah, this kind of illustrates what I was talking about with the sword. So it's going like up at an angle, but she's looking straight forward, like where her hand's pointed actually. So if they had tilted the sword down a little bit more, so it was more parallel to the ground, I think it would look a little bit better. You got the sheath, which is attached to a little chain on her belt, which is a nice little touch. And yeah, the billowing of the waistcoat is great. It like fills out the background of her, so you don't see any of the crap in the background. So that's a nice little touch. The boots look very detailed. Looks pretty good. Here we see her from kind of like her front view, but from the side of the figure. And you see, yes, you got the little claw holding up her shin. And then from the back, we see these are not just support rods, they also have claws on them. So the claws are holding up her coat, and it just looks bad. It's like, and other figure companies have proven you don't need these. I mean, she even has a metal rod coming up from the base stabbed into her heel. Maybe thicken this up a little bit because it is well hidden behind her foot. Thicken this rod up a little bit, give her a metal skeleton, balance the base a little bit, and then you don't need these crappy plastic rods. But it is what it is. Moving on. Stop complaining about that. From the back, her hair is very, very voluminous, so there's a lot of hair there. It's sculpted very nicely. It's got the right color. It's got shading in it. Is darker at the tips than at the top of her head. And yeah, it just looks pretty dang good. And her skirt looks good. Thighs look good. And the face, yeah, I think it's really just the angle that we're looking at her, and she's got maybe some puffy cheeks, but she's got a nice smile on her face. Eyes look good, but just the first impression is the face looks a little bit off to me. So yeah, that's Asana. If you like her, you can buy her at Ami Ami. I doubt you'll get her when she's supposed to come out, but it is what it is. But like I said, my first impression looking at this is it looks very good, looks clean, but I don't quite trust Aquamarine. I do have one of their figures, but she was okay, but not the best. So yeah, Asuna. And then moving on, we have Soryu Osako from Evangelion Shingeki Joban, the movie. She is by Flair and is a non-scale figure, but looking at the size, 9.17 inches, I'm going to guess around a 1/7 scale figure. She is supposed to come out in November of 2018 and is priced at 12,800 yen. And I'll come out and say this again. I hated Evangelion. I don't like it. I don't understand why the hype for it. It's just basically a drug fever dream. And this figure, I really don't like it. I mean, the paintwork and sculpt and everything, it looks good. I just I don't like her face or her hair. That that's what it is. But moving on, we'll look at her and we'll comment on her. So she has the Spear of Longinus. I'm guessing that's what that is. It's been a while since I've watched it, so I'm not quite sure. It is a long spear. It's got a pretty nice tip on it. She is wearing a plug suit, which is showing off a lot more flesh than I remember her showing off. It even has the boob cleavage window, so yes, you can see her cleavage. Does not appear to be welded, which is a good thing. Her hips are definitely pronounced. The bone is sticking out a bit. The outfit is very high cut, so she is showing off a lot of flesh in that little region. She's got some nice boots on her, going all the way up her thighs. And her hair is definitely brown, which is different than Asuka's normal hair coloring. And that face, ugh, no. From this angle, the face doesn't look quite as bad. Maybe it's the puffy lips and the smaller eyes that kind of throw me off. It's not like a typical anime style face. It's more realistic looking. The hair is sculpted pretty dang nice, and it's got some good shading in there as well. It's just not, in my opinion, not the right color. The outfit is nice and shiny. It's nice and clean. All the lines doesn't look like there's any paint bleeding or anything. No obvious seam lines, which is a good thing. She's got 02 written on her chest just above her cleavage, and it is some pretty nice cleavage. I'll give her that. You can see the tendons in her neck. Ear is pretty detailed. Kind of a pouty look on her face, at least from this angle. But yeah, she just looks like a spoiled brat kid to me, which honestly fits her character, I guess. So yeah, I'm not going to harp on this one too much. because I've already done it. Back of her, she's got the 2 on the back of her suit. Once again, the very high cut, so showing off a lot of booty flesh. And it's tight, so it's going riding up her crack a bit, but it is not completely eaten by her ass. Yeah, I mean, the outfit does look quite beautiful and quite good. It's really just the face that I don't like on this figure. So we'll we'll leave it at that. She looks good. If you like her, you can say Murialda is an asshole and an idiot. I'm getting her anyways, and you can buy her. So yeah, that's Asuka. So we shall move on. Yui. So our next suggester is Rexlock, and Rexlock has suggested some figures. And stupid browser is messing up again. Let's try it like this, and hopefully it won't mess up again. So Rexlock has suggested two liver girls. It matches the Yui wallpaper we just saw, except these are in harem outfits. Yes, they are like Arabian Nights. So we'll start with Momo Belia Deviluke from To Live Darkness. She is by Amakuni. There is no scale listed to her. She is just a prototype. Yeah. So no price, no release dates or anything like that. Before we look at her picture, we'll look at the original artwork that these are all based off of. And I'm going to assume, being too Loveru, that just about all of these girls will get a figure made of them in these harem outfits. Personally, if I had to pick 2 that I like, it would be Lala and Yui, because I like Lala and I like Yui, and they got the bigger boobs. But yeah, overall they all look pretty nice, and I mean it's Tuleru. If you like Tuleru, this may be a set you will be quite interested in purchasing. So Momo, we only got this one picture right now, but there are Chan pictures. Uh, she's got her pink hair. She's got a little headband, which is partially eaten by her hair. She has the little bra, and she has a loincloth. And she's got her Devilukian tail, so the tail is quite long. It's painted very nicely on the tip. You got the little red to black gradient. And she is showing off lots and lots of flesh and her belly button. And she is barefoot. So we shall close this one. And we shall go to Chan. Drag this one over. So we'll pick out a few of the colored pictures because we don't care about gray prototypes here. Well, at least when there's colored pictures. So we'll do this one to see kind of the face. We'll do a full body shot. And we'll do kind of a close-up. Well, there's a side shot and a kind of close-up shot. So yes, Momo. So there is her face. I do remember the last time I talked about these in the episode that was muted. I did say that overall they look good, but they feel unfinished. And I'll kind of explain why when I say that. And it's mainly the outfit. Like, it's hard to do like these little chains and meaty bits in a figure because you got to have thick plastic. You can't make it super, super fine. And then you get the clear bits, which just doesn't look the greatest, but it feels kind of like blobby and not painted very well. It feels very plasticky. So that's why I kind of say it feels unfinished. Uh, and then you got the same effect going on in the tiara part of her headdress. It looks like, I mean, it's obviously sculpted out of her hair. It's all one piece, but it just doesn't look the greatest. And I know Amakuni can do a very, very good job. So I'm hopeful that they will improve upon this and the final product will be better. I won't be buying it because I'm not the biggest Momo fan or the Nemesis fan. We'll talk about her in a bit. But yeah, she's got a little button nose. She's got some poofy lips with a little bit of gloss on them. She's got a nice little smile on her face. She is a little devilish girl. The hair is a nice pink color. It's got a bit of white shading in there. And she's got modest-sized boobs, human-sized boobs. They would be on the bigger side, but anime figure world, they're on the smaller side. She does have the golden armband hiding the seam line. And yeah, I mean, got the collar, necklace, and everything. She's holding her hands, and that's that picture. This is the full body shot, so we'll start off with her feet. She does have toes, but they are, I mean, this is typical in anime figures. The toes are a blob of plastic with a little bit of sculpting in there, but they are all, one piece. They're not separated out or anything. This skin looks nice and creamy and soft and squeezable, and it's not. It's going to be hard plastic, of course. Scroll up a bit, and we see her belly button. It's there, but it's not super defined or anything, which is a good touch. She does have a fairly flat stomach, so it doesn't make sense that it would be super deep. She does have a little bit of strap holding her loincloth on, with a little bit of chain going on. Hands, the fingers are there. Can't really see, but they do appear to be a blob of plastic. But yeah, overall, like from a normal distance, I think she would look okay. But since we're, of course, zoomed in super far, and we got some blinding white lights on it, so it's kind of shiny, it doesn't look quite the best in these pictures. I do see in this picture, we do see, yes, we get the famous strap gap. That's a good touch. And overall, the bra does seem pretty loose, and it's not even attached right there. So it's possible that it's going to be cast off, but I wouldn't count on it, but it is a possibility. We'll have to wait and see. From the side, the boobs do look bigger than they do from the front, so you get some good side boob, good armpit going on there. And here the fingers do look better, less like a blob and more individual. So yeah, Momo, her hair is very like layered and sculpted. There's lots of hair in there, and it looks pretty good. Lots of strands, but unfortunately, when you start getting all this hair, you do start getting extra seam lines in it. So it's a trade-off there. And then there's kind of the close-up of the chest, torso region of her. So as I said, it's interesting. It's unique. It looks decent. It does feel a little bit unfinished, but this is still an early prototype. So, something to keep your eye on. If you don't like Momo, maybe you like Nemesis from Two Lover Darkness. 1 second. Yes, Nemesis from Two Lover Darkness. I am not muted. Once again, from Amakuni, that's part of the Harem line again. This one is listed as a 1/7 scale figure, so it leads me to believe that Momo will also be 1/7, and pretty much all of these, when they make them, will be as well. Again, she is just a prototype, so no prices, no release dates or anything, but we can look at her anyways. I will say this, overall, I do kind of like the general look of Nemesis. There are a few things that kind of throw me on her that I don't like, but I do love her hair. It's very long hair. It's got lots and lots of strands, lots of sculpting details in there. It's got this gradient from the black to the red at the tips, and I think it looks great. I also really like her face. One thing I really don't like about her is her belly button and the whole navel line. I think they made that too much emphasis on there. It's very deep and it's shaded and it just is too prominent. She is maybe a little malnourished, so her rib cage is definitely sticking out, and she's got some folds of skin on her side from the way she is standing. She is kind of maybe leaning or falling backwards a little bit. All of her fingers do seem to be individual. And we see down here that her big toe is separated from the rest of her toes. And we only have this one picture in this view, so let's go over to Chan again. Let's see here. We'll do a close-up of her face. We'll do kind of a full body shot. We'll get the important questions answered. And then this one. So here's kind of the close-up of her face. I love her eyes. When they're sharp, pointy like this, it typically is something that I like. Her pupils do appear to be more cat-like, so they are kind of slits. I think they have done her hair ornament better than Momo's. It feels more like separated out from her hair, like it's not just sculpted out of the hair, and it actually wraps around her whole head instead of just fading into the strands. And we can see the points at the tips of the hair are nice and clean. It's a very nice gradient, and there's lots and lots of hair. So yeah, overall, I really like her head and face area and her hair. Scrolling down a little bit, we do see her fingers are quite red. It almost feels like she has, stabbed her hand into someone's chest and, into their heart and pulled it out and they're all bloody. Maybe they'll make that less prominent in the final product. She does have some pink nail polish on. And she's kind of, resting her hand on her chest, which is very small. She does not have big boobs at all, but there are little mountains there. So yeah, A cup. As I said before, her rib cage is definitely very prominent, so she does feel maybe a little malnourished. And you get the little folds of skin over here. She does have the golden armbands hiding the seam. And we have this super defined and shaded, darkened navel line. If it was just the belly button, it would be okay. But this whole line, it just looks bad to me. So here's kind of the full body shot. So as I said, her big toe separated out, but the rest of them are pretty much a blob. She does have her ankles kind of pronounced and, nice long legs. She does have more of a tan skin tone than the typical two-lover girl, which is a nice thing. And as I said, I love her hair. She is also wearing a loincloth. And the answer to the important question has been answered, which is white. And if we zoom in a bit, we do see quite a bit of flesh off to the side of that. So it's almost like they're being pulled over just a little bit, but the important bits are still covered. So yeah. And then the, upper body shot. Love her hair, love her face. Body, man, not necessarily my thing. And again, I do feel she's unfinished. I do feel she's a little bit further along than Momo, though, but there is room for improvement. They look good, but there's room for improvement on both of these. Take a drink of water. And now we shall move on to Just Mo. Just Mo has suggested for us. So the first two are the same figure, just with one with an accessory. So this is Altair, or the Gunpuku no Himigami, the military uniform princess. She is from Recreators and is by Good Smile Company. This first one is the Holopsion, Holopsicon, however you say that version of her. She is a 1A scale figure, supposed to come out in June of 2019. Yes, a whole year. And this version is priced at 20,370 yen. And if you don't want to pay all that money, but you like the general look of her, you can have the normal version of her, which does not have the flying swords. And this one is only 14,352 yen, so quite a bit cheaper. Since they are the same figure, just with accessories, I'm going to go ahead and close this tab. And we'll look at Altair and see what she looks like. So I will say this. When this figure was first announced and the prototype was first shown, it wasn't even a great prototype. It was like clear plastic prototype. I was very excited for it. I was happy. I was still watching the show at the time, and it was interesting, and I liked it. And then it just sat there, and it sat there for so long. The show ended. It ended kind of like a mediocre show to me, so that kind of killed some of my hype. It took so long for her to get painted that honestly, I she looks great, but I have no hype for this, and I'm not gonna buy it. Yeah, it's just killed it. Plus, you got a whole year before the delays start. So yeah. But anyways, enough of my bitching. Let's actually just look at her. So as I said, this is the version, the Holoscopion, or however you would say that version. And what that is these, the flying swords circling around her. And I feel that they have done this very poorly. I do not like how they did this. You've got this clear plastic ring going around her, which just looks horrible. I mean, I don't have a solution on how they could have done this any better, though, but it just looks horrible. But you got all these swords, and they're, in a ring around her with the blades out and everything. And the swords are quite detailed. They look good. I just don't like this ring. And then you've got all these extra clear support rods. They kind of look like Nendroid supports. So, meh. So if I were to buy this, I would not get this version. I would get the cheaper one without this. And we can see you can separate them into different pieces and stuff, so you don't even have to have the full ring displayed. But I wish there was a alternate way they could have done this. So we'll leave that like that, and we'll look at Altair herself. So she has a base, which is kind of like a dome, but she is standing on it, so it has been concaved in. This reminds me a lot of the Matoi Ryuko from Kill la Kill's base, her big Senketsu version. So I think they may have reused the base. Uh, so we got Altair, and her body line is very hidden by her big giant outfit, which is how it's supposed to be in the show. I mean, it is a military uniform, and it's not a sexy military uniform. She has a big giant military hat on. She has a machine gun, which she is playing like a fiddle with her sword, which is, if you watch the show, you know what that is. She also has these like magazine belt pouches on her belt, which doesn't quite make sense to me because you look at them and you see they are very long, but then the machine gun has a drum magazine on it, so it doesn't quite match up. I mean, maybe it's not for extra bullets. Who knows? I mean, it's anime, and I'm not gonna really say too much about the anime because spoilers and all that crap. But it does kind of fit how she was created and designed and everything in the show. Kind of like lots of little things just thrown together. One very impressive thing about this figure is her hair. She has a lot of hair. There's lots of strands, lots of sculpting details in there. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of shading, but there is some. And I mean, just there's a lot of hair, and it looks very good. Uh, so we see her from the side a bit, and you can see, yes, more details of the hair. The skirt is very poofy. We do see that she has an underskirt as well. Doesn't quite look like the clear plastic, but it is roughly in everything. She has some boots on, and the boots have some spurs. Yeah, I had to think about that. And they're high heel boots, chunky boots, little platforms, making her taller than she is. And now we can see kind of a good close-up of her face. And she's got her red eyes with the blue centers, and they're kind of like square pupils. She's got a little, evil grin on her face. All her fingers are all separated, and she's got her pinky out. She is a proper lady. Uh, the sword is quite detailed. There's these lines on it, and when I was just looking at it, it does kind of feel like strings on a violin. She's got this red sash. The sash is shaded. She does not have big giant boobs. Um, yeah. The pouches look like chocolatey leather, so kind of look almost realistic, but they do have that plastic feel to them. There was something I wanted to talk about, but we're not getting that view, so we'll talk about it when we get there. But yes, she does have the big giant hat. She's got a couple of red ribbons flying out. Uh, Paintwork seems nice and clean. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a good quality figure and everything. It's just, like I said, I have lost any hype and desire to have it. We do see that her boots only go up to her calf, so they're not thigh-high boots or anything. And she is showing off some leg flesh under there. Important questions will remain unanswered for now. There she is doing battle with Meteora. There's the view of the swords again and how they're attached to this plastic support. They are pretty much the exact same, well, maybe a little bit less detailed than the swords she's holding in her hand. There we go. So yes, the stock of the machine gun has a wood grain painted on it, and it does look pretty realistic. That's what I wanted to talk about before, is that little wood grain. And you got the trigger and safety and everything in there. The uh, the barrel is a little bit skeletonized, so you can actually see the barrel inside of it. And yeah, uh, as I've said before, when you start getting all of this hair, you do start getting a bit more seam lines, so you got some seam lines showing up as well. But I think it's a good trade-off in this case because she has a lot of impressive hair. Get this little part line in the back so you could kind of see her back, but with the outfit she's wearing, there's not much to see under there, I would assume. This is a good angle of her face. It definitely has that, you know, she is the antagonist, so it has that, kind of evilish grin, evilish look on her face. And it doesn't look like she's playing a violin, it looks like she's trying to stab someone. So yeah, it's Altair, and if you like her, you can buy her. Personally, as I said, if I were to buy her, I would not get the expensive version with the swords. I would just get the normal version of her. I mean, it's over a $50 price difference, so yeah. And then moving on, we have Excella Noa Aura from Shining Resonance. This one is by Kotobukiya and is a 1/8 scale figure. She came out November 27th of 2015 and was priced at 12,000 yen. In the aftermarket, yeah, she got expensive. So, over $200, almost $300, depending on where you buy her. Yeah, I don't think she's quite worth that much money. But we'll click on and we'll look at her. So she is from Shining Resonance. I do have a Shining Resonance figure in Rena Mayfield. She has a very similar base. It's kind of like a cobblestone road and it's cracked and everything. So same base. Uh, this girl, she has quite a bit of armor. So I would give her an armor rating of 0.5%. She's definitely going to die first. If she was wearing bikini armor, then she'd be invincible. But yeah, anyways, enough joking. The armor is kind of a purplish shade. It does look very, very good. The ruffles around her skirt look quite good. And in general, I think this looks like a good figure. It is a Shining Girl, so Tony Taka, very similar face. And if you like one Shining Girl, you're going to pretty much like just about all of them because they are all very similar style. But yeah, so if you like Tony Taka's artwork or you like Shining, you'll probably like this one. She does have these kind of like bat wings coming out of her head, so I'm guessing that's just, armor decoration. She's got a long lance, And the lance kind of is reminiscent of a clarinet. It's got the little finger holes and the little levers and everything. And it's got like the bell horn. So yeah, definitely reminds me of a clarinet. It's not quite the right shape, but that's what it looks like. Uh, so here we see she kind of has a little bit of a maid headband, but not quite maid like. She's got a very serious, angry look on her face, so her eyes are, slanted. She's got a little bit of a scowl on her mouth. She's got some white hair with some nice twin tails. She's got some good shoulder armor. It's definitely layered, multiple plates and sticking up. And you got some bicep armor as well. Definitely, it's hiding the seam line very well. It's not the typical white or gold band. Uh, she does have a couple vulnerabilities in the armor, so I mean, it makes sense when you have to move and stuff that there will be gaps, but I mean, come on, if you're gonna do battle with her, just stab her right there and you've won. But this roughly skirt bit looks very good. It's got a little purple heart. Purple heart. I really like her eyes, just the shape of them, and I love the red color of them. She's got some gray eyebrows. And keeping with the clarinet theme, the handle of the lance also has like the little levers and stuff. We do see she is wearing a purple mini skirt as well, showing off some zetaryuki, and a couple underskirt layers of white ruffles. There's a Sakia, and there we go. The pose isn't very interesting. I mean, she's just basically standing there holding her lance, feet spread apart. But overall, I do like the way that she looks. Uh, Here she is on display, and it's kind of meh. The face is a little bit more yellow and once you get under these lights. Same in the box, kind of like a yellow face. Doesn't match the pure white of her hair or her face in the original artwork. But yeah, she looks good, and like I said, if you like Tony Taka or you like the Shining Girls, you probably like this one. The outfit looks great. The pose is a little meh, and okay, she's got a part line, got twin tails. Backs of her knees are detailed quite nicely. So yeah, if you like her, you like her. If you don't, you don't. I don't think she is worth $300, so I will not be buying this or hunting this one down. I feel like I've missed a figure. Because I remember talking about another figure. Did I skip someone? I did. I did skip someone. I skipped Kamina Dagger. So let's go and do that one. Because I remember talking about this one because the one that we just looked at, she was in the background. Yes, we have Zenshi no Jingai Minerva from Cardfight Vanguard Link Joker Hen. This is another Kotobukiya figure based off of illustrations by Tony Taka, but she is not from the Shining series, but she is a Tony Taka girl, so she looks like she should have been in the Shining series, but she is from Cardfight Vanguard. She is a 1/8 scale figure. She came out June 26th of 2015 and was priced at 13,800 yen. And she's gone down a bit in price, so yeah, you can get her for under $100 now, new. And we'll click and we'll look at her. And this picture, I will say this right off the bat, lies to you. Her wings in the final product are very transparent. They're very difficult to even see because they are that clear. But anyways, yes, it is Minerva, and she is wearing a Miko outfit. So you got the red skirt, you got the white top, you got the very, very long sleeves, you got the thigh-high stockings, got some sandals. She is holding a spear, so she is kind of a battle Miko, kind of like an angel. The spear has some magical energy effects for the blade. She has a shield, and she has an owl friend which sits on the shield. Um, I did very seriously consider buying this one, especially when she was at Ami Ami. She was going for almost like, I think maybe around $40. So at that time, I seriously considered buying her, but I just never did. So yeah, she looks good. I'm interested in her, but never quite bought her. Uh, you can there's this channel Figurizing on YouTube, which has a video of her. I've watched that one quite a bit. So yeah, I love the colors. I've said this before. Red, white, and black go together very well. And I mean, you got red, you got white, and you got some black trim, and you got some pink trim as well. So yes, it's a Tony Taka girl, so very very similar face. She has some charms, paper charms coming out of her hair, and some like owl feather hair ornaments. Uh, she is not showing off cleavage. She has big boobs, but her top is bound tightly around her, so no chance of it coming undone. Very nice red mini skirt, and you got the red bow and everything. Very long sleeves. You got the purple or the pink lacing, and the paintwork seems very nice and clean. And you got the roughly red trim of the sleeves. You got this white ribbon in her hand, which kind of holds the shield in place. She's showing off her shoulders, and she is holding the spear with a hand. You got the one finger separated, but then the others, I do believe, are a blob of plastic. And you got the owl friend, which is staring at her chest. She does have kind of a melancholic look on her face, so she's just got that 1,000-yard stare. She has very beautiful blue eyes. She's got that little open mouth, slightly open mouth. Doesn't look like there's any teeth in there. Ears are detailed. She has some transparent plastic earrings with very big jewels. The hair is very, very detailed sculpting wise. Got lots of strands going everywhere, and it does have a gradient to a translucent plastic at the tips. But I mean, look at all that sculpting in there, and it looks pretty dang good. You got some nice wrinkles in her top and in her skirt, and a little bit of shading painted on there. Very, very subtle. And here, yes, you can see the hand is just a blob of plastic. Doesn't look quite the greatest. And you got the owl staring at her boobs. The owl is quite detailed as well. You can see all the little feathers sculpted out of it. You got the little horns. You got the eyes. You got the beak. You got the claws on its toes. And it's just sitting on the shield. Her stockings have the pink lacing around the hem of it as well, and it also has the yin yang on her knees. Her wings are kind of like robotic wings, so it's not very like natural looking. It definitely looks. I mean, it's made out of metal and stuff, so yeah. There's a good shot of the bird and its eyes, and it's looking at her boobs. Come on, show us her from the back. Her from the back. So again, you're not really meant to look at her from the back, but you get very detailed hair. You can see how the wings attach to her back. There's a little metal thing in the center of her back. You can see her luscious, luscious thighs, but overall it's just kind of plain and boring from the back. The shield, there's no emblem emblazoned on it or anything. It's just a metal dish. You do have a couple of these blue spikes coming off both sides of it, but it's just kind of boring from the back. I mean, it makes sense if it's actually a war shield because, yeah, simple is better. It's just going to get destroyed. But overall, as I said, I do like this one. I've considered buying her. The wings are large, but they are very transparent plastic and hard to see. If we come over to the user pictures, we see the answer to the important question is white. So I guess her skirt is removable, but then she's probably got the big giant gap seam right there. I went to Chan, didn't I? Yes, I did. I went to Chan instead of user pictures. Come on, come on. Yeah, this is kind of good. So this really indicates, like, you can barely even see the wings. They're that transparent. We do see, I mean, this is a little bit of a grainy picture, but we do see it's clean, but the paint is a little bit misaligned, so you got a little bit of white there. But again, we're zoomed in so far, you wouldn't typically see this. But now that we're zoomed out a bit, I guess you do kind of see a little bit of misalignment in the paint on the lacing, but everywhere else it seems very clean. So I think she turned out quite nicely. So if you like her, she's still pretty cheap and you can buy her. So yay. And then we have Jeanne d'Arc Alter from Fate Grand Order by Alter. This is a 1/7 scale prototype, so yes, no price, no release dates, none of that stuff. I do believe another person suggested this figure, but we'll talk about it anyways. Sorry. Alter versions of these characters are, kind of the evil versions. And I think, yes, this is her Avenger version. So, yay. Not a ruler, but an Avenger. So she definitely has that more dark look to her. I mean, the armor is black. The eyes are that, evil yellow color. The flag is not pure white. It definitely has been tainted. There's lots of like blood red coloring on it. She's showing off her thigh, and she has her sword out and unsheathed, which is not the typical Jeanne d'Arc. Being prototype, we only have this one picture, but we'll look at the Chan pictures and see the differences. And I'm burping now. So, next. We'll look at the artwork she is based off of. We'll skip the gray prototype pictures. We'll do a face shot. We'll do a mid-body shot. We'll do a flag shot and crotch shot, and then the full shot. So this is the artwork that she is based off of. Got her sword out, got armor, you got thighs, you got flags, you got cape and everything. So yeah, is Alter true to this artwork? Let's find out. So there is her face. She has the black armor for her head armor instead of the shining metal look. Her eyes are in that evil glare look, and she's got that evil smile on her face. She's got some teeth showing off in there. Eyes are very yellow. They got kind of like that cat slit pupil. The hair is kind of a whitish color, but it is like dingy, like cream or eggshell kinda. She's got a pointy chin. I like the way that the face looks. It's got a good shape to it. It's framed very nicely by her hair and the head armor. Her cape has a fluffy collar, which most of the time the fluffy stuff looks horrible. This looks pretty good. And it's also got a metallic looking chain that is sculpted very nicely. She has some big boobs, which are covered by a little bit of cloth. Cloth is dirty and, bloody and red and everything. She also has some stomach armor and some arm armor. Armor. The flag has some fluffy trim on it, and this is what I was talking about. This type of fluff looks horrible, but this type of fluff right here around her neck looks pretty good. So yeah, I like her face. She's got a good look to her. The boobs are big, but they're not in your face big, and they're not the centerpiece of this figure. It does look like the armor, like she's actually been in battle and it's taken some scratches. It's got like scratches and a little bit of battle damage to it, so it's not pristine and clean and neat and everything. Looks pretty dang good. Here's kind of like the top view of her. Definitely showing off the thigh flesh. You got a little bit of booty flesh showing off, I think. You got the sheath of the sword over here. It's a blue one. You got her other hand is holding the sword. It's got lots of little details around the hilt and the guard and everything. Uh, Her cape has the little red crosses on it, and it's just flying out and behind her, and it's tattered and everything. It's reddish and black. I mean, overall, it has that evil just gotten out of she. I mean, she's not even out of battle. She is still fighting. She's just taking a few moments to catch her breath, and then she's going to kill some more people. So yeah, it's a very good look to her. It's not your typical Jeanne d'Arc. It's the alter version of her. Yeah, looks good. I'm not really that into Jeanne. I like the way that she looks, but I'm not going to buy this. She's going to be a major space hog. Uh, the flag is not the pure white with the gold trim. It's got the black little symbols and everything, and it's just real dingy and you know like evil looking. I do wish they would find a different way to do this fuzz around the trim of it. Like, I mean, use real fuzz. It just looks bad when it's sculpted out of hard plastic like that. It's very detailed, but in my opinion, it just doesn't look the greatest. But this definitely, it just looks like gross, and it's done so good. This flag, it's got that gross look to it, but it's good. Here's a good shot of her sword and her hand armor and everything. So yes, she is gripping the pommel or the handle of the sword. You got the pommel, you got the guard. It's got some nice coloring, nice clean paint. You got whatever this is wrapped around it, and it looks like the sword is bleeding a little bit. Don't know if this is the blood of her enemies or if it's just a evil effect going down the center of it, but it's a nice little touch. And then there's the full body shot. So, as I said before, this is going to be a massive space hog because she has this massive flag and the flagpole, which is very, very long. And her cape is flying out and everything. She's going to take up a lot of space. She's going to be freaking expensive. But, I mean, there will be people that see this, and the second she goes up, even if she is $250, they will buy it because it's alter and she looks pretty damn good. I am not one of those people, but I I admit she looks pretty damn good. So yeah, if you like her, you can buy her eventually. Yeah. So yeah, moving on. So we did just Mo. So now we're on Chakro. And Chakro has suggested to start off with Situ from Kogi Sangaku no Lelouch. She is by Union Creative. She is a non-scale figure, but looking at it, she's going to be around a 1/7 scale, maybe big 1/8. She is supposed to come out in September of 2018 and is priced at 13,800 yen. So there's not a whole lot of C2 figures out there, and the ones that there are typically the prize figures, so you don't get very many like high quality scale figures of her. I mean, technically she's not a scale, but you know what I mean. But she looks pretty dang good. Uh, she is kind of in her straight jacket outfit, so you got lots of little straps. You got the big giant sleeves and the big giant bell bottom pants. I mean, they're obviously zippers and everything, and they're unzipped. Very white colored themed outfit. It is tight on her, and she has the vacuum sealed belly button. She has some very lovely green hair and some yellow golden eyes. And yeah, it looks pretty much exactly like C2. CC, however you say her name. She's got kind of a melancholic look on her face, so kind of a little bit sad, a little bit of a open mouth frown smile. She does have teeth. She's got a nice little nose. She's got, as I said, the golden eyes with the eyebrows going up, giving her that sad look. Her fringe is kind of poofy and large, It's sculpted very nicely. Nice, clean, pointy, sharp points on it and everything. The hair in the back is going everywhere, every which direction, like the wind's blowing her from the front. And yeah, you got all these little straps on her, and the buckles seem to be painted nice and clean. The little silver trim line on her outfit is, again, painted nice and clean. So overall, I think this is a very good-looking C2 figure, if you're into that. She's got a bit of a thigh gap, and she's a thin girl. You got the folds in her clothing. So yeah, looks pretty good. Uh, and then depending on the angle you're looking at her from, her expression feels like it changes a little bit. Like this one's a little bit lower, looking more straight on at her face, and she definitely looks a little bit sadder. This one is slightly higher, looking more down at her face, and it looks a little bit less sad and a little bit more maybe angry. But yeah, just a slight change in angle changes the expression just so ever so slightly. But yeah. You got the ears, you got the collar, you got the boobs in there. She's squeezing them together, so obviously there's a weld line, and it's painted a bit. They're not super giant boobs or anything. It's hidden behind her arms. Arms are crossed in front of her body. There she is from the side, and again, they're showing you the slight differences in angles, showing slightly different facial expressions. And eventually, I know there we go. So we're starting to see her from the back. The fingers all seem to be individual. Can't really see them all, but they're very, judging by the way that this thumb is sculpted, I'm going to be reasonably assured that the fingers are all individually sculpted. The back of the hair does feel like a big giant chunk of plastic, but it is sculpted so that it has the effect of the individual strands, but it is, just a chunk of plastic. And it does appear to be shaded a bit too. And at the tips of the fringe, you do get a little bit of separation between the little strands. And then it wouldn't be C2 without the ass. She is known for her ass, and yes, she has a very tight outfit, so it is going up her crack, giving her quite the wedgie, showing both cheeks, very prominent. It's got a nice curve to it, and it definitely looks squeezable. Yeah, smack that ass. From the back, the pants definitely do look like giant bell bottoms, which isn't necessarily my favorite thing in the world, but you can live with it for that ass. So yeah, in my opinion, this is a pretty decent C2 figure. I'm not the biggest Code Geass fan, and Shirley was my girl in it, but as I said before, I don't think there's really too many high quality figures of her, so I'm sure this one is going to sell like hotcakes. And it's not a bad price. It is maybe a little expensive because she is kind of a little bit of a simpler figure, I think. But I don't think it's super expensive or anything like that. $128 at Nippon Station. So yeah, I mean for a 1/7 scale figure, that's pretty reasonable. Even though she's not technically a scale figure. And then the other one that Chakro has suggested is Sakuma Mayu, who is another Idol Girl from Idolmaster Cinderella Girls, another one that I don't know who she is. She is manufactured by AmiAmi Zero. Yes, AmiAmi makes their own figures sometimes. She is a 1/8 scale figure. She's supposed to come out in October of 2018 and is priced at 12,900 yen. We'll click over here and see the original artwork real quick. Definitely very pink themed. Very pink themed. Lots of little hearts and everything. Very roughly dressed. And she's doing the Dr. Evil $1 billion pose with her pinky. So is AmiAmi going to translate this picture into 3D figure form perfectly? Stay tuned and we shall find out. Right now! Yes, so we click on it, and the first thing that I see is a stupid plastic support rod. Why does she need a stupid plastic support rod? Hopefully this is not a permanent feature of this figure. So, moving on past the stupid plastic support rod. She is showing off quite a bit of leg flesh. She's got some high heel shoes on with some, ankle stockings and some ribbons holding the shoes around her ankles. She has a big poofy dress with lots of poofy underskirt ruffly things. She has some brown hair. She's got lots of ribbons flying in the breeze. She is doing the $1 billion, $1 million pose, and she has a microphone rod. And I'll say this now. I waited to say this earlier, last time I recorded this, but I do with her dress. It does give me that Madoka dress feel. It's the same, similar colors and similar style. It's not the exact same, but that's the feel I get when I look at her. So, from this angle, we start to see she has some lacing on the front of her dress. Looks pretty good. It's obviously not sculpted out of her chest. It's like extra strands of plastic, which is a nice touch. It is just a solid red color, so there's not a lot of shading in there. The skirt part of her dress is poofy, and it's got these like pearlescent beads just glued on all over the place. She's got a microphone, which is in the shape of a heart, and she is daintily holding that. She has a big giant bow on her chest with a heart on it. She has a little collar with a little clear jewel. She is wearing some earrings with what appear to be little jingle bells on them, and that is the worst place to have jingle bells, is on earrings right next to your ear canal. She does have a little bit of blush on her face. She's got some nice green blue eyes. I do feel like the makeup around it, like around the eyebrows and eyelashes, does have a little bit too much of a red tinge to it. It doesn't look quite the greatest. She has a big giant bow with the heart on her hairband, and she also has some fairly brown and flat looking hair on the top of her head. The fringe is sculpted nicely. She's showing off her shoulders. She's got a little poofy armband covering the seam line, and a little red string tied around her pinky nail. It's the red string of fate. The ruffly skirt bits are pink translucent plastic. Important question shall remain unanswered for now. She does have kind of a how do I chubby looking face, a little bit of poofy in the cheeks. So she's not a super thin girl, which is a good thing. Good body diversity. And from this angle, she is definitely doing the $1 million pose with her pinky, almost like she's sucking on it. From this angle, the face, I think, does look a little bit better than the other angles we've been looking at her from. And yeah, I think Ami's doing a good job on this. I don't think they're quite at the altar level, but it's still a pretty decent looking figure. One thing I have mentioned in the last time I recorded this is the top of the hair. You got this part line, which is a seam, which looks bad enough, but I could give them a pass on this. But then they have another seam line across the entire back of her head, and this doesn't make sense to me. You typically have that with the fringe, and then the back is one solid piece, but this time they have the fringe, you got a piece here, you got a piece here, and then you got the back piece as well. The typical fringe seam line is hidden nicely underneath the hairband, but this one just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, you're not going to see it most of the time because you'll be looking at her from the front and it is hidden nicely, but it's there. If we see her from the back eventually, come on, come on. Yeah, I mean, from the back, why? Why did they do this? Doesn't make sense to me. And then the rest of the hair, they definitely could have improved the hair. That's my opinion. It's not, there's shading, but it's not sculpted very well, in my opinion. It's very blobby. So now let's go back So there's a shot of her shoe. It's a very nice high heel. Nice ribbon tied around the ankle with the little heart. You got heart and a couple pearls around the edge of the shoe as well. There is a seam where her foot attaches to it. That'll probably be fixed in the final product. Uh, Ears quite detailed. All the little lines and ribs and everything in there. So yeah, overall, it's a nice looking figure. Not quite ultra tier. There's not a whole lot of like shading. There's lots of very flat colors. There is a little bit of shading, like right there. Got the little beads. Reminds me a lot of Monica's dress. The microphone rod is wrapped with a ribbon. It's got a clear plastic jewel, and it looks pretty good. So yeah, if you like Idol Girls, this might be one you would be interested in. So yay. So now we shall move on to Alan Tay, who has suggested a figure which technically probably could have been in the NSFY 2, but there is blinding white latest censorship to him. So we will risk it for the biscuit. And again, it is two figures in one. We have from Senran Kaira New Wave G Burst, we have Ryona and Gokubi. I'm guessing that's their names. The girls' slender, glamorous Fuku version, they are 1/10 scale, so they're small, and they're kneeling down, so they're going to be even smaller. They are by Pruvi, and they're supposed to come out in August of 2018, priced at 15,600 yen. Once again, remember it's two figures in one, so figure it's about $70 each. Now 1/10, they are small, and like I said, they're kneeling down, so they are only 4.5 inches tall total. But we'll click and we'll look at them. I know they have their individual names. I don't know who's who, so I'm going to say the blonde one and the brown-haired one. The brown-haired one has another figure that we've talked about before, so I do kind of lean towards her as looking better, mainly because, yeah, she just looks better. But the blonde hair one has big giant boobs, and she has some writing on the cleavage. She has very small underwear, which is just barely covering her lady bits. And she's sticking out her tongue, and she's got that, she's just been having some fun look on her face. She's making the double peace sign, and she's kneeling down. She's got a belly button. The brown-haired one has long hair, which is automatically a bonus, and it's in twin tails. It's got strands that are going everywhere. She has some pink underwear on, and she is pretty flat-chested. From the back, the blonde-haired one, the small underwear definitely shows off a lot more crack, but they're both showing off some good crack. You can see a little bit of shading detail in her hair with the part line and a couple of sculpting details. Her hair is more voluminous and more sculpted detailed wise. It does appear to have a little bit of darker tone around the tips, which is a nice little touch. Whoops. So yeah. Again, not really meant to be viewed from the back. Meant to be viewed from the front. So as I said, she's sticking out her tongue. I really don't like her face, and her head overall just doesn't look good. Honestly, overall, I don't like the blonde one. I do like the brown-haired one. Stomach region is pretty detailed. You got the rib cage, you got the navel line with the belly button, you got the V line of her crotch area. Over here, you got the belly button, a little bit of a bunny, a little bit of a belly bulge, little bulgy belly. You can see her hip bones and, the smaller chest. We do see they both have heterochromia. So the brown-haired one has a green right eye and a blue left eye, and the blonde-haired has a blue right eye and a green left eye. So if you ripped out their eyes and swapped them, you could have them. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. You could make them have similar eyes. But I think the eyes look pretty nice, at least. Enough about that. Brown-haired one has a headband. Don't like that tongue. She's got a little yellow bow on her panties, and this one has little ruffly bits around it. And they are cast offable, so you can take off their jackets. Blinding White Light of Censorship Doom. And magically, when you take off the brown-haired one's jacket, her boobs grow to be big, giant, bulbous boobs. Yes, it's nice size and shape of boobs. At least under. Big. I cannot speak anymore. Yes, it's a nice shape to these boobs, being big and giant, looking like this. Another bonus for her. But yeah, still has the scribbling on her boobs over here on the blonde one. So yeah, I don't know if you can take the coat off on the brown-haired ones and still have her be flat-chested. I don't know that. I haven't seen any pictures about that. But as I said, overall, they're not figures for me. They've got looks like a mirror base, so you can see the crotch areas without having to pick them up and flip them over and everything. But yeah, not really figures for me. I do like the brown-haired one more than the blonde-haired one. They're 1/10 scale, so they're small. Uh, Again, you're buying two figures in one, so the price of 15,600 yen isn't horrible, but quality-wise, it just doesn't feel right to me. So, if you like them, or you like Senran and Kagura, you can buy them. Aftermarket-wise, well, they're not in the aftermarket yet because they're not released. So, yeah. It is what it is. We'll close this and move on. Akagi Kaga. She just got painted. Yes, there's a figure of her coming out. So yes, moving on. We have one more suggester, which is Fallacy, who was the other one that suggested the Jeanne d'Arc. But she has also suggested Arturia Pendragon, the Lancer version of her. She is from Fate Grand Order and is by Good Smile Company. She is a 1/8 scale figure. She is supposed to come out in July of 2019. Expect her as a Christmas present. And she is priced at 22,963 yen. That is a very high price. She is very, very expensive. But I do believe she will be worth the money that you pay. Because not only do you get Arturia Pendragon, you get her big giant lance, and you get her big giant horse, and you get her big giant boobs, which are probably $50 each. But yes, let's look at her. A lot of people do complain that this figure has big giant boobs because Arturia typically is the saber from Fate Stay Night, and she is fairly small boobed, fairly flat chested. But once she becomes Lancer, her boobs magically grow, and it is consistent with the artwork. So Good Smile did not take liberties with this figure. But yes, let's look at the details and see why she would be worth that price. I will not be buying this because it's too expensive for me. I'm not the biggest Arturia fan, and I have nowhere to put it. But she still looks pretty damn good. And this lance is amazing in my opinion. It's got lots of magical effects, which are done with the clear, transparent plastic. You got the yellow bits wrapping around it, and then you got the blue bits in the center. And typically, transparent plastic on figures looks like shit and looks like crap. This, in my opinion, looks amazing. I really do like this lance, and the clear effect works very well. It feels kind of like water, kinda, and the blue color really gives that watery feel. It is very tall. Um, yeah, she's almost 20 inches tall, 50 centimeters. So, yeah, won't fit in a DTOF unless you remove a shelf. You got Arturia herself, who is wearing a crown. She's got a red cape. She's got a blue outfit. She's got some bits of armor. You got the horse, which is white, a white horse, and it's got lots of armor on it as well, and it's got a horse blanket and everything. It is standing on a base which looks like broken cobblestone. So this is the announcement promotional artwork. So yes, big giant boobs. You got the horse. It's not exactly the same pose or anything, but the art style shows what you should expect. So there is a shot of her face. One thing I do notice is her hair is a lot of yellow. There's not a lot of shading in it, but it is sculpted quite nicely. And you got these little strands around her face, which are good. It's nice and sharp and clean. And you got the Hoge. She is wearing a crown, which I kind of want to say it's like broken because it's not a full crown, but it's intentional that the centerpiece has been left open. She does have a little crosshair jewel ornament. She has some nice blue-green eyes with a nice shape to them. She is serious. She is about to do battle, so she is not a happy girl. She's got a, firm look in her mouth. And she's got big giant boobs. I do believe they're going to be welded together because you can't have big giant boobs being squished together without them being welded. You can't have separation, unfortunately. But there is definitely a cleavage window showing off all the cleavage. Oh, she has her shoulder exposed as well as her armpit, so it's nice some nice flesh there. She has that red cape, which also has a fluffy collar. And again, this is the style of fluff that has I like the way that it looks. It's not that ugly fluff. It's the it's more like fluffy fluff. It doesn't look like it has any shading in it though, so it is just a blob of white, and they're relying on the natural lighting effects. So yay. There she is compared to an iPhone. Who knows what fucking iPhone this is? Is it a plus? Is it a minus? Is it a 876X? Whatever. It's a fucking iPhone. Who cares? I wish they would do a ruler instead. But yes, obviously she is large and will take up a lot of space. There is a lot of plastic, so I'm sure it's going to be heavy as well. It is a very impressive figure. So let's get a little bit of some close-ups. I do like the outfit, the blue color, and the outfit is shaded very nicely. So you got darker blues, you got lighter blues, you got some gold trim on it. I don't like the vacuum sealed belly button that she has. Why does she have to have a vacuum sealed belly button? Oh well. Moving on. Armor looks like plastic metal. So it's painted to look like metal, but it still has that plastic feel to it. But it is sculpted very nicely, especially like the horse armor. You can see the little rivets and everything, a little bit of scroll work. You can see all the little plates protecting its neck. It is wearing a bridle, which is holding the head armor on as well, and she's holding on to the reins. And the horse has black eyes, looks very detailed. You don't see very many horses in the anime figure world. So I think it's been done very well. And I like her facial expression in this angle. Hair is very detailed sculpted, and it does feel a little bit more shaded in this picture. Her head seems a little bit flatter than your typical anime style figure, but it's not a bad looking. It's a good look. Here you get a good shot of her vacuum sealed belly button. You can see under her skirt just a tad. Can't quite make out the answer to the important question though. So here you can see the horse is rearing up onto its hind legs. You got the hooves, you got the fluff, you got the knobby bits around its ankles and its knees, and you can see it is a very strong, muscular horse. It's a war horse. It's got to be strong. It's got the armor. Armor looks good and everything. Underbelly is exposed, but you're not gonna wrap a horse with metal completely. But yeah, overall, it is a very impressive looking figure. It is a very good looking figure. I will not be buying it. It is a very expensive figure. There she is with the little Gudeko Nendoroid Petite. So just kind of showing off the size difference. So from the back, you look at her hair, and my God, look! Ah, why did it do that? I wanted to zoom in, but I can't. Look at all the details in her hair. It is braided and wrapped around and everything, and very, very nicely sculpted. From her back, you can see her outfit is quite tight, so you can see like her hints of her spine line and some back muscles. Might even be a hint of a wedgie showing up there. You can see the handle of her lance. It's got some knobby bits. It's got some ribbons painted onto it, and it's quite detailed as well. All the paintwork is very clean. I'm sure when you get this figure, it's going to be a very good quality figure, and that you will be happy with it. You better be happy with it for the money you're going to spend on it. And as I said, don't expect her out in July. I would be more expecting her as a Christmas present. But yeah, if you like her, you can buy her. Just take out a loan first. I wanted to close it and then minimize that because we are done with suggestions. I've talked for a long time. It's longer, I think, this time than the last time I recorded this, so let's bring this to an end. So yeah, hopefully YouTube will eventually get their shit together and re-enable streaming. If not, then we'll just keep doing regular videos. But yeah, feel free, leave your suggestions for next week. 2 per person, none from the last 2 episodes or whatever. And if we skip weeks, it's not, hard and fast rules, but try to be nice. But yeah, anyways, I hope everyone enjoyed. I'm out. Bye bye.